All right, we're here with Josh Churella, who we're sneaking in a quick interview before you head off to the World Championships for 3 weeks. Obviously, you'd prefer to go out there and compete, but just going out there's got to be a good experience, and you can gain a lot from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definitely good opportunity. I've never been to the World Championships, and it's a big year ahead of us, leading into Olympic trials and hopefully to the Olympics. So it'll be good to get there and see that stage of wrestling. I've been there numerous other times, training and wrestling in other big tournaments, but nothing really compares to the World Championship. So it's definitely a good opportunity for me to see it and train in that environment.
And Michigan has a great freestyle tradition over the years, and especially recently with you and Ryan and Andy Rovat. Ty was training here. But last year you were the only post-grad guy training here. But then almost overnight you had 5 guys come out and join you. What's that going to do for your training environment here?
I think it'll just, I think it's going to elevate, not only my training, but, competing. You're with guys day in and day out that are wrestling at the same level that you are, that have the same aspirations and goals that you do. I think it can only, drive you to the next level. And I think that it basically fell in my lap, and it's a great situation. Last year I was training by myself, and that was probably one of the only years I was actually by myself like that. And, I was hurt, so I came back in January. So I wasn't around the whole year, but I had to travel a lot because I didn't have the training partners, and I had to put myself in a situation where I can excel, and that's what I was doing. I was going to overtime with Sean Bourmet, who's here now as our coach. So, it's just been a great move, I think, for everybody. And
do you think it's almost like the best of all worlds to have Sean come here?
Yeah, definitely. I had to evaluate what I was going to do after last year. If depending on what was going to go on with the program, if guys were going to move in or not, I might have had to relocate and put myself in a selfish situation for 1 year. I love Michigan. I wanted to stay here, and I'm glad and I'm fortunate that it turned out to be that I got to stay here. So yeah, it's been great. Sean's here now, and he's been my personal freestyle coach since I graduated college. So we have a tight connection, and there's other guys, Herbert and Poeta. I've got to know them real well in the last couple of years, training overtime. They're great guys, and having Tyrell Todd come back, good buddy from college. It's just all these guys that are here, they train real hard and they have the same goal. So it's an exciting time to be at Michigan.
Well, and as a Michigan alum, you have to be really excited about the boost that it's going to give the program here too.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what you've seen this situation in the last couple of years at Ohio RTC, Penn State's. They got numerous guys training at their facility, so that's definitely going to bring in recruits, and it's a great situation. Before these regional training sites really took off, that's what teams like Iowa and other powerhouses like Oklahoma State, they always had guys that stuck around and trained after, compete at international level, and that helps develop the guys that are coming in college. I think it gives them someone to look up to, and then they can move on after college and try to meet their goals in international wrestling. So I feel like we're doing that here now at Michigan. We had a couple different times where we were kind of doing it with me, Rovat, and Ryan. Michael Zicki was around, and it was a good situation, but some guys retire, and last couple of years it's been flat around here, and I think now with the new guys moving in, it's a really good situation here at Michigan. We have a great facility. It's state of the art. I feel like it's going to really help bring in top-notch guys that want to excel at the next level.
And are you excited to see some non-Michigan guys come in? It gives you a little different taste.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly. We got guys that are really accomplished. You got Herbert, who's a world silver medalist, 2-time national champ. Mike Poeta, 2-time NCAA runner-up. Jimmy Kennedy was a 3-time All-American. And Ty and myself, who are alumni here. So it's great to have a mix of guys come in like that. It shows that, other guys from around the country want to train in Michigan, not just Michigan alum. And we have a great situation, great training environment. You couldn't ask for anything better. So I think it's a great addition having other guys from different, perspectives, different environments come in, and it's forming into a melting pot. And it's going to be, I think there's going to be some great chemistry here, and I think we're going to do good things. And
talk about your past season a little bit. You had a big breakthrough year a year ago, but then you had surgery, and were out for a while. So what was the process coming back from that?
Yeah, it was a process. It was 09-010 season. I was starting to come along, and it took me a little while to get acclimated with the freestyle after college, but I started doing well and was real confident the senior or at the U.S. Nationals. I made it to the finals and lost a close match to Jared Frere, but then and then at the World Trials I ended up taking third. So I didn't meet the goals I wanted to, to be a world team member, but I made the national team for the first time. It was a big step for me. But in that last match against Doug Schwab, I tore my labrum, my rotator cuff, in my shoulder. So I had to have surgery after that, and I was planning on being out 5-6 months max, and it was a little bit longer. It came back 8 months later, 7-8 months later, and just took a little while. My timing was a little off, and but I got back into it. I wrestled one tournament for the U.S. Nationals in Belarus. Wrestled Olympic champion right off the bat and lost a close match, and I was done. So I only got one good match in before the Nationals. So, but I was prepared. I mean, that's not an excuse. I put the time in. I was training overtime, training back here, and I felt like I was ready at the U.S. Nationals. But it took some time to come back. But coming back from after the U.S. Nationals, leading in the World Team Trials, I thought I put myself in a good situation to win. It just didn't work out for me. So my shoulder's feeling good now, and I'm on the right path. So.
Well, and you had a pretty smooth transition to freestyle, but you didn't do a lot of it in high school and college. Was it something about your style that made it an easy transition for you?
Well, the new rules, when I say new rules, whenever they came out, I don't know, it's been 7-8 years, whatever, when the new rules changed, the out of bounds rule, score points. I feel like for a lot of guys, it's hard for them to get to my legs. I've been a lot shorter than my competition. I just stay in a good stance. It's hard for guys to get to my legs, and I feel like, I have a couple explosive double legs, and even if I don't get them, I can drive people out of bounds. So I think that works to my favor. It was an easy transition, and it wasn't. It took me a little bit of time to get accustomed. But I wrestled in high school. I wrestled at Fargo every year in the summer, so that helped, I think, a lot, just from the freestyle mindset. And then in college, I was away from it for a long time. I wrestled, I think, one tournament, the Junior World Team Trials, and after that was after my freshman year of college. And after that, I didn't wrestle till after I graduated my senior year, so there's definitely a gap there. But yeah, I just feel like my style transitioned well for some reason. I don't know if it's just the position, how I stay in position, or if the push out rule, or I don't know. I feel comfortable on my feet, and I think that's what you have to do, because you don't have a lot of time on top or bottom in that case. So I feel comfortable on my feet, and I think it's helped me transition.
And it seems like at your weight, there's just a razor thin margin between you and Tion Ware and Brent Metcalf. So what's it going to take for you to beat those guys and start doing it consistently?
Yeah, you know what, it's gonna take me just going out there with a clear mind and wrestling to my capabilities. And I know if I do that, I think no one can beat me in the country. I think I'm one of the best in the world if I do that. I think it's just putting 3 good periods together, hopefully just 2 good periods, 4 minutes. If I can do that, I feel like I can beat anyone in the country. So it's going to take just me penetrating, get off on my shots, and getting those angles and finding my attacks, and and scoring on these guys and scoring early. So I think if I do that, I can put myself in a good situation in Olympic trials.